Hello, sixth graders. So we're going to be continuing our topic 1 today, and it's topic 1.8, equivalent expressions. So first thing, we kind of already talked a little bit about equivalent expressions and talking about commutative property and distributive property to make equivalent expressions. And now we're going to use those ways in order to find out if expressions are equivalent. So in order to do that, first we need to talk about what does it mean for something to be equivalent. So equivalency means or stands for when two values are equal. That word equal is in word equivalent. You can also say that they are when two values are equal or the same value. All right? So equivalent when two values are equal. So first, the steps to determine if two or more expressions are equivalent. The first thing you can do is simplify the expression. And we talked about how to do those. Use distributive property to clear the parentheses. For example, if you have a problem like this, we can use distributive property to make an equivalent expression that looks like 12x plus 20. Both of these expressions are equivalent. Okay, we just cleared the parentheses. Or you can do the second option, which is combine like terms. For example, 2x plus 5 plus 3x minus 2. We can make an equivalent expression by combining like terms. So 2x plus 3x is 5x. And 5 minus 2 is 3. So this is equal to this. Okay. Now, another thing we can do besides just simplifying the expression, another little trick we can do is to substitute a value for the variable and solve. Okay. So substitute a value for the variable and solve. For example, okay, 4 parentheses 3x plus 5, we said, is equivalent to 12x plus 20. And a way we can determine that is to plug in a number for x and solve. And if we get the same number on both sides, we know they're equivalent. So for example, I'm going to pick a nice easy number of the number. So x equals 2. Let's say that. I picked 2 for x. So I can plug in 2 for x, and it would be 4 parentheses 3 times 2 is 6 plus 5 equals 12, multiplying 12 times 2 plus 20. So if we solve this side, we have 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 times 4 is 44 on this side. 12 times 2 is 24 plus 20 is also 44. So see, by plugging in the same number into the variable on both sides, we ended up getting 44 on both sides, which tells us what we already know, but it tells us that both of these equations are equivalent, or both of these expressions, are equivalent. So now we're going to do a little bit of practice. So we're going to see which of the following expressions below are equivalent. And how we're going to do that is by doing that last example that we just did, by substituting a value for the variable. So for the first time, we're going to substitute in x equals 1 for the variable, then x equals 2 for the variable, then x equals 3 for the variable. Now, Miss Ross, I messed up a little bit, and the variable actually isn't x, the variable is m. So really it's m equals 1, m equals 2, and m equals 3. But that's okay, you get the point, right? So for the first example, we're going to write it out. So it will be 4. And since m is 1, we're just going to plug in 1 for m plus 8. And if we solve that, 4 times 1 is 4 plus 8 is 12. So the answer for this one is 12. We can circle it. And now, basically, if all of these expressions are equivalent, if we plugged in 1 in for m for all of these expressions, we would get 12 for all of these in a perfect world. So let's see if we're correct. All right. So the second problem, again, we're going to plug in m and plug in 1. So it'd be 4 parentheses 1 plus 3. Okay. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Uh-oh. So we got 12, and then we got 16. So are these two expressions, 4m plus 8 and 4 parentheses m plus 3, so far, do they seem like they're equivalent? No, but let's keep going. Let's see. Okay, then we have 3 parentheses. We're going to plug in 1 for m. 1 plus 9 plus 1 minus 1. And we do left to right. So we have 3 plus 9 plus 1 minus 1. 3 plus 9 is 9, 10, 11, 12. Plus 1 is 13. Minus 1 is 12. So we have one matching one. And then lastly, we have 2 plus 6, plug in the 1. Plus 3 minus 2, plug in the 1. And again, we solve 2 plus 6 plus 3 minus 2. Solving from left to right, 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 3, 9, 10, 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. So right now, it's looking, we plugged in 1 into all of these expressions and solved. We got 12 and 12. So far, it looks like this expression and this expression are equivalent. But if you think back to science class, remember science class, when you do an experiment, you can't just do an experiment once. You have to do it more than once to test it, just to make sure. So we're going to do 2 more examples just to make sure that our hypothesis is correct, that this 4m plus 8 and 3m plus 9 plus m minus 1, they are equivalent. All right, so we're going to do the same thing that we just did, but now instead of plugging in 1 for m in every expression, we're going to plug in 2. So it goes the same. 4 parentheses 2 plus 8, and then we solve. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 8, we get 16. Okay? And then the next one, we have 4 parentheses, again, plugging in 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. So far, these are not the same. Okay? Then we have 3 parentheses 2 plus 9 plus 2 again, minus 1. We're plugging in 2 for m. We solve. We have 6 plus 9 plus 2 minus 1. Okay? Then we have 6 plus 9, and we get 15. Plus 2, we get 17. Minus 1, we get 16. So far, they do. I see that 16 and 16, we did get the same answer. Let's see. And then the last one, we have 2 plus, again, plugging in 2 for m, plus 3. Oh, not m. 2 again. We have 2 plus 12 plus 3 minus 4. 2 plus 12 is 14. 14 plus 3 is 17. 17 minus 4 is 13. All right, so that one we didn't get same either. So it does look like that this first one and this third one are equivalent, but let's do one more test to prove it. We'll do it in green. So we have 4 parentheses 3 plus 8. So we get 12 plus 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. And then we have 4 parentheses 3 plus 3, plugging in 3 for m, and we get 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Again, not equivalent. Then we have 3 parentheses 3 plus 9 plus 3 minus 1. And we solve. We get 9 plus 9 plus 3 minus 1. 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 3 is 21. 21 minus 1 is 20. All right. And then lastly, we have 2 plus 6m plus 3 minus 2m. But again, we want to put in our 3 for each of the m's. And we would get 2 plus 18 plus 3 minus 6. And we would get 20. 20 plus 3 is 23. 23 minus 6, we would get 17. Okay, so we tested it 3 times, and with 3 different values for the variable, every single one told us that this expression and this expression are equivalent. And we did that by just substituting in a value and solving. And again, if you get the same answer, that means they are equivalent. Now let's look specifically at these two examples, okay? If we look, we have 4m plus 8 equals, we said that equals 3m plus 9 plus m minus 1. Now, we can prove that they're equivalent. Yes, we plugged in an answer for each of the m's, but also we can prove by combining like terms. So, for example, in this problem, 3m and m we can combine, and that's really a 1m. And I see this plus sign here tells us we're adding. 3m plus 1m is 4m. And then we also can combine the 9 and the minus 1. So 9 minus 1 is a positive 8, okay? So by combining like terms for this problem, we got what this expression is. So you could have solved it two ways. You could have combined like terms, or what we did, plugging it in and seeing if you get the same answer. I like this plugging it in way, okay? Because you can see exactly if the expressions are equivalent or if they are not. So what we're going to do right now, after this Ed puzzle, you're going to go onto a Google form and you're going to complete the some practice problems to help you see which expressions are equivalent and which are not. Okay? What I would suggest when you're doing that Google form is to do just what we were doing up here. Okay? Plug in a variable. Now you can make the variable up, but I would probably stick with either 1, 2, or 3 so that you're not doing crazy calculations. All right, so come up with a variable. Let's say the variable equals 2. Plug in 2 into each expression, and if you get the same solution, then you know they are equivalent. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Email me if you are stuck or confused, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.